Tell us who you are.
I'm Mike Denham. You'd have seen me in previous videos ripping the hell out of books and things like that. I run Adventure League games every week, usually on a Wednesday, sometimes on a Sunday. Currently doing Curse of Strahd and the Adventure League modules for Season 4.
I'm John Shackle. You would have seen my hands with all the miniature videos. As I said, I'm also a DM for some AL games. Don't DM as much, but I still find it fun when I get to do it.
So tell me about Adventure League.
Yeah, so Adventure League is a Wizards of the Coast organised play program. What that means in short is you can make a character under a certain set of rules that they put out. You can then take that character anywhere. You can take it overseas, you can take it to another game store, as long as the game is called an Adventure League game. There are some frameworks working that with the different seasons, but otherwise everyone plays under the same set of rules, the same guidelines for creating a character, and effectively the game should be the same store to store, so you can just drop in and drop out as you want.
Yep, it's pretty good because one could be doing one adventure that you might not have already done, and it's just good to take a character, plonk it in that game, have that game, and then a couple of weeks later go back to your own group and play with that.
Are there any disadvantages to playing an Adventure League game?
So it's an organised system, which means that the DMs themselves aren't making up a lot of things on the spot, and neither can you for your character. The thing with it is the equipment is specifically assigned, so you get magic items and they're divvied out depending on the amount of magic items that people have. But otherwise, not really, no. You can still do a lot within Adventure League, even though some people think it may be restricting because of the rules. But really, it's up to you to interpret that and work with your DM.
Yeah, that's where I will actually slightly disagree with you. I don't like a lot of... Yes, they're structured, but a lot of players don't like the structure because they may want to go, hey, let's go and investigate this area. And if you don't have it in the rules, you have to think on the fly, which is great for DMs that can think like that. But you have to then push them back. And then, especially with the earlier seasons, you get to pretty much, you could roll for magic items. Well, actually in AL, all you could get was a potion of healing. Great when you're low level, not when you're high.
So that's an interesting point. There's two sort of things where it may be bad. It's bad for the DM or bad for the player. As a DM, the modules can be quite haphazard. So what I mean by that is it'll give you a hook into the adventure, and within about 3 pages that hook is long forgotten and they're trying to railroad you into the main adventure, which happens quite a lot, especially in the Season 4 adventures. I am enjoying them though, because I'm running them back to back. But it does tend to lead players down that garden path of here's a hook, oh, why is there nothing to do with it anymore?
Yeah. Or it might start with one and then the characters might completely go off thinking it's completely that way, and it's like, no.
And it doesn't exist. It's about the main disadvantage I can suss out for it, but as a DM at least. As a player, I don't get to play.
That's where I differ. I play a lot more than I DM, and the rules for character creation is great, but also, especially with some of the newer books that have come out, a good example is you could technically play a water elf. But the problem is with AL, you couldn't breathe and you can't swim, which is a bit of a strange thing if you want to be a water elf. Or a good example, a flying creature. You're not allowed to fly.
Yeah.
I can understand the reason for it, but it still seems to be like,
I'll give you that one.
What are the benefits of signing up to be a Dungeon Master for Adventure League?
So Dungeon Masters, it's been really cool. The last 2 seasons have got something called a Dungeon Master card, and that card allows you to get rewards depending on what you're doing. If you're running the first lot of adventures, if you're running a set of adventures, if you run at a convention, if you run the book itself, if you run all of them, for instance, you can get a game with Wizards of the Coast as long as you prove it on your log sheets, which is really great. You get a lot of XP, downtime, gold, there's items as well that you have access to depending on the amount of things that you complete on your DM card. And yeah, there's also benefits for new players. For instance, the Season 4 had every new player start with a healing potion on them.
yeah, that's what I liked about it, is it wasn't just for the DMs, it could be for the players as well.
Yeah. And more XP for the players as long as you run that set of modules as well, so you can get people up higher faster.
All right. So tell me about the new season. Tell me about the new adventure for the new season.
Yes, Storm King Thunder. Yes. Well, I've been playing that one more than DMing that one so far, and I'm enjoying it to a certain point. Though I do find it funny that the only character that is dying is the cleric, and guess what? I'm playing a cleric for once. We pretty much got to a certain point where we got to control NPCs, and my NPC actually was the MPV of the actual scenario for that one, which I thought was hilarious.
I haven't started it yet. I'm continuing to play out season 4. As a DM, one of the things I'm not enthused about with AL is that they've finally taken the adventures away from stores. They now have to buy these. We, as a store, are already having people pay because the store stays open late. I don't think that's advantageous at the moment, but yeah, we'll get to season 5 once season 4 is finished.
Yeah, I like it because it doesn't feel like you're rushing to accomplish stuff. This previous seasons where you felt like you had a bit of a deadline. This one was you could still kind of go and wander off into the middle of nowhere and then come back and nothing's really changed because it's giants. Come on, their quick action takes months.
Thanks, guys. That'll do.
Cool. Thanks, Fred.
See you, Fred.